Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Paradisos, where if you change your thoughts, you can change the world. That is right. That is right. My name is Dennis, for those of you who don't know, who are just joining us for the first time. And yes, today is Thursday, which means we are back with another Trading Thursday. And I am mostly excited because today is our first female trader from Trading Experts, and hopefully not our last. Please, everyone, welcome Gina Theodore. All right. So let's dive right in. So what first drew you to trading?
So first drew me to trading was my brother. He's the biggest counterpart there. My dad passed away in 2013, and we were cleaning out some old boxes of paper. He had so much paperwork, and we found all these old brokerage statements, and I always remember in the back of my head this old family story about how my dad could have been a millionaire at one point. Mm-hmm. And so we're going through these old bank statements, and we're seeing $1 million statements, $2 million statements. And at one point, I think the highest one we found was a $2.6 million brokerage statement. And we were and it was penny stocks, of course. And we're oh my God, this is crazy. And I remember my brother being so motivated. He's I want to get into this. I think this is cool. So he, was I want to learn more. And I kind of was yeah, that's cool, but I don't know. I don't know if that's for me. Right. And we kind of went our separate ways. And I'm sure I remember him being involved in trading before he found Trading Experts. And he would show me how he was trading. He was trading a lot of cheap names. I remember it being I don't know off the top of my head. Mm-hmm. He was trading cheaper things, and then he found Trading Experts on a Christmas vacation. I remember him being glued to his computer, and he was this is so cool. This is so cool. Gina, you should download Robinhood. This is awesome. He's showing me charts, talking about support and resistance. And I'm all right, this is pretty cool. I do have an inheritance money with a financial advisor. I probably should learn about this, but I never got really involved until he sent me over one of their first manuals, and I read it in an hour or two, and I got super into it. And I'm like a blank sponge, or whatever. I absorb the material right away because I never did finance or anything in high school or college, so I have no previous knowledge whatsoever about trading. So that's how I did. I just started reading the manuals, but mostly from my brother and some inspiration from my dad. So
did it ever feel overwhelming with all the information that Trading Experts offered?
Actually, no. I was a big science and math person, and I'm very cut and dry, black and white, 2 and 2 together. And I feel the information they provide, it's right there, and that's what makes sense. And like I said, I didn't have any counter knowledge that I'd learned previously that would counteract what they were showing me. Right. So I'm this makes so much sense. Right. 5 rewards, support and resistance. It goes. If it looks like this, it goes down. If it looks like that, it goes up, type of thing. So right. I didn't, it just made sense to me. And it was just absorbing the information. Yeah, I don't know. It just.
That's awesome. No, because I mean, and I feel that in not only in trading, but I feel that that's so important, the aspect of being a sponge, being so open-minded when learning a new skill, because it helps you and it just elevates you so much quicker into learning that skill if you just accept everything that is given to you and then you weigh out whatever works for you.
Right. I think it would have been totally different if I had previously taken a course on penny stocks or option trading and learned a whole different set of rules and had that knowledge to kind of contradict everything that they were telling me. Well, I knew this. And so it really clicked. I really got right engaged into it. I really soaked it right up. I thought it was awesome. And I think the way that they broke it down was so inviting, and you could relate, because they would talk about, Ben's very good, I'm sure you know, at relate technical like example to a real life scenario. So that's one thing that can really connect you and make it all make sense, I guess.
Right. So what do you find most frustrating in trading or about trading?
So it kind of changes over time. At first, it was, so, you know, you work your way up the programs and you're in this chat with, first you're in this chat with 500 people.
It just got cut off. Just start again. Sorry about that.
Okay.
So you're in this chat with 500 people.
Yeah. So then you're in the alpha members. So you kind of forget that just because you're in there doesn't mean other people aren't just recently in there too. Right. You just take everyone's word and you're like, oh my God, there's all these great ideas, and you want to just click the buttons and go.
Right.
So what was very frustrating was to get all these ideas and be like, yeah, I'm going to buy that. And then you buy it and then like it's a loser and you're like, oh, but I thought it was going to be a great idea because, you know, so-and-so said it. So really took at least a year or two for me to be like, just because other people, even our mentors, like some of the mentors like Heaven and Shake and Ben, just because they, you know, suggest it doesn't mean it's always going to work. So I think it's very frustrating. Like you have so much conviction. You're like, oh, I just want to make money. I just want to do good. And it doesn't always work out. And then another one too is like, I know everyone always talks about this, you know, everyone else bought, let's say Disney today, I'm sure right. Saw went up like 11 points.
Yeah.
You know, everyone gets in on that and you were busy or you were working or you just weren't in the mood and everyone else gets it and you don't. And then I also think, a big one for me is like forgetting my stop loss or not checking for earnings.
Yeah.
So like a huge thing is like earnings, as they say, gambling. I think my biggest downfall to this day is not checking when the earnings is coming out. So, you know, it can gap down or gap up. And I can't tell you how many times I was caught and got gap downs just because I didn't check the night before, like the day of, to sell it. I mean, I even now have one stock that I'm in right now and I'm a huge bag holder and I just have the conviction to sell it yet. But if I had just sold it the day before, I wouldn't be in this position.
Right.
Like the same thing with stop loss. You're like, oh, I want to give it room. I want to give it room to grow or whatever. And in Morgan Stanley, my brokerage, you got to give it a 3-day rule. So sometimes I'm like, oh, well, I have to at least wait 3 days to sell it. Then 2 weeks go by, I forgot to put in that stop loss after those days. And then the stock drops and you're like, I should give it more time. And then you can see future you sees in the past, like, oh, if I had just done that, it's like the past didn't know, like you wanted to give it space or room to go. So I can't tell you how many times I've ended up in like a way bigger loss than I should have because I just didn't put in a stop loss or I didn't check the earnings beforehand. So that's very frustrating because it's all on you. So
right.
I think that's really it. I don't know. I wrote down a couple of things.
So I mean, then those. Sorry to interrupt, but and those are like great lessons. But like, do you have any other like great lessons learned from trading? I mean, of course, those three are big ones. But anything else that you might have learned on your journey so far?
So you have to have a lot of like emotion, like a lot of
emotional stability, like mental strength.
Confidence in yourself, even when you've made a big mistake. You got to just remind yourself like that it's over and done. What happened, and it is what it is. I need to move forward. I would say it's tough to learn from it because I can't tell you how many times where I've done something and I did it again and I did it again and again. And it's like, you learn from it. Yes. You just don't know how many times it's going to take for you to learn. I mean, I'm sure there's like real life examples of that too, but you learn from it. Yes. But you have to also not lose yourself in the process too. Like just because you messed up, you can't like self-doubt. You just move on and just try to not wipe it completely, but wipe that emotional attachment to it and then attack the next problem with a fresh, clean slate with the knowledge you have. So I don't know.
No, you're right on the money. So, but how easy it is to lose yourself? in your
Yeah.
experience?
Well, when we're talking about money, like a little bit more background on my story was I had a lot of my inheritance money from my dad with a financial advisor. And after doing some math and some realization, I realized I would be making triple, if not quadruple more if I had just thrown all my money in the S&P 500. I mean, I was making like pennies compared to my account size. So I decided to take my entire inheritance, my entire retirement into my own hands. So not only are we talking about making mistakes, but making mistakes with my retirement. Like it's all on me. So it's like a lot on your shoulders. So you have to stay sane, because it's like, if I don't succeed in this, or at least find my niche and my edge, I'm screwed. This is my retirement we're talking about. And you know how easy it is just for, I have all the knowledge. There's other people out there that are doing this job and don't have the knowledge I have. So I don't want my retirement in their hands either. So it's a lot of responsibility, but
absolutely
you gotta keep along and just know that if you tell yourself you'll be successful, you will. And if you put in the hard work, you will. So
man, that deserves a clap right there. My goodness. She's a philosopher. We got a philosopher on our hand. So what are some of the things you're still working on as a trader?
Oh man. So I'm like a plumber who doesn't do their own plumbing. I know I can spit you everything you should do, but I don't know. Yeah. My thing is I need to work on really working towards what I preach, leading, doing what is right. So I really want to work on reading more. I know that's a huge thing, is reading. I mean, I can't tell you, just in my life too, like other things that interest me, I've drawn towards more reading than I have just, Googling it or like watching a documentary or whatever. I've really leaned towards reading. So with the stock thing, I'm like, I really want to start picking a book and setting a goal to read that book and really tackling it every day, not just like, I didn't read all week, I'm going to have to read for like 3 hours this weekend. Like picking to like 5 or 10 pages a day. And I don't know. Yeah, just like the self-improvement, being able to like take things into my own, being responsible for my own mistakes. And then another thing that I know you're supposed to do, but I don't do, is log my trades or journal my trades. I tried, and I'll do it for like a week and I'll be so good. And then it all goes.
It just takes one day to be completely like off.
Oh God, yeah. It's like going to the gym. You go to the gym for like 2 weeks straight, and then you don't go for like 3 months. I know I should journal, and I know I should do all these things, but it's still a little bit of a struggle for me. I'm a newbie, and it's funny because I know what I should do, but I don't do it. I'm here to admit, and I think like I don't exceed or succeed as much as I do is because I don't do those things. So
hey, at least you have the acknowledgement and the understanding that those are just little things that you just need to work on. Yeah, as all of us, So go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, a big thing too is you don't have to like set yourself up for like 2-3 hours a day of these routine things. Like even just 10 minutes to 30 minutes a day, it doesn't take much. It's just being consistent, sticking with it. Yeah, consistent.
So how has your trading evolved since you first started with trading experts until now?
Okay, so I did like a huge, 180, I guess you would say. So I first started out with a Robinhood account, which I put in like $100 or $500, and I would buy little positions that were worth like maybe $5 or $20, and I totally blew up my account. And this is with trading experts. I like lost like probably over $1,000. I lost all my confidence. I was like, I closed out every position. I was like, I'm done. And then once
How long into the program?
How long into the program? Probably like a chunk of time, like at least 6 to 9 months.
Wow.
I just totally blew up my account. And like I said, I wasn't like calculating it out right. Because, when you get into a position, you're supposed to calculate out like a 5-to-1 reward. You're supposed to have like, I buy the stock at $20, I sell it at 18, and I sell it at, or I sell it at, higher prices, right? And I just wouldn't stick with that. Days would go by, whatever. I wasn't as adamant about it, and I wasn't regimented. So I totally blew up my account. And then when I made the decision to switch over my inheritance money into my own hands, I went from like a 500,000. I remember every time I wanted to buy something, I would just put more of my own money in. So I remember going from like maybe 500 to like maybe $4,000 in the account by the time I closed it out, to a $90,000 account. So I know. So when I got the $90,000 account, I went in like basically with not great results so far. I'm like, I'm going to start fresh. I ended up losing more money. And there's in the program, there's like a textbook, how you should go about it.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things is that you should never put all your eggs in a basket.
Right.
You should have about a fifth or a sixth or anywhere from, just a little piece of the pie in each position. So let's just say it's about, you have $100 account and you're never supposed to put more than 1/5 in each position. It's about $20. In an $80,000 account, let's say you're even just doing all tenths, that's $8,000 in one position. So I just didn't have the stomach to be like, I can't put $8,000 all in one thing and like have a risk reward of losing like $400. I couldn't stomach that. So I would do something like kind of in between,
mm-hmm.
but there was pretty solid chunk sizes of positions, like $4,000 or so. And so I was taking these losses and my gains weren't as much as my losses. I kind of evened out. So the first year I took like a pretty big loss, not like crazy. Like
mm-hmm.
I think maybe no more than like $1,000, which is, from all the stories I heard, $1,000 is not that bad. Then the second year I kind of like lost a little or kind of broke even.
Mm-hmm.
So then one day I remember saying like I think I lost a lot of just confidence or whatever in myself. And I was like, something's not working.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I remember reaching out to one of the mentors being like, something's not working. Like it's not working. Like I'm not doing good. I'm probably about a year in now. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, well, I want to be in this, right? Like I want to do this. I really want to succeed, but I can't stomach losing a lot of money. I'm not very good, clearly, because my track record's not great. I am not good. So what can I do? I was like, I'm going to keep doing it, but I'm going to trade like a baby. So even with my $80,000, $90,000 account, mm-hmm. I was trading like 5 or 10 shares or 15 shares of stocks. So that's like maybe a $500 position.
Okay.
Or just buy 10 shares of something.
Right.
And then like, if I lost like maybe $25, $50, I would get out, some small increments. And then if I was doing good, I'd sell like one share and then I'd sell one share. I'm like, this is actually going pretty good. I had a lot more patience with stuff too. Like if the stock is, not looking good or I'm like starting to lose, I'm like, I'm just going to give it time. Worst comes to worst, it would never, like, even if it was down like 10%, it would never be more than like 20, 30 bucks.
Right.
You can stomach. So I gave myself a lot more patience and a lot more time to let things work. And then finally, and sure enough, they usually do come around. They usually do end up, sometimes you get shaken out. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you heard that.
Right.
Like those times people got shaken out, like in the chat, I'd still be in. I'd hold it and I'd be like, oh, I hope I'm making the right choice. And sure enough, it would turn around, the thing would go up and I'd, take the profits. And I think I started out, I made my first like $1,000. So I'm like, all right, I'm like totally in the profit right now. Like I'm doing really good. I'm going to bump it up. So I went from buying like 10 or 15 shares to like 20 or 25,
right.
25. So that's how my trading has progressed. I started baby steps. And I have like literally worked my way up. I'm 2 years in the program now. And I feel confident. The biggest struggle so far is like learning the markets. But as it has evolved, I'm still only trading like 20, 25 shares. Like I haven't made the mental step to go bigger.
Right.
So I trade with this mentality like I have maybe a $4,000 or $5,000 account, and I don't trade all my money. It's just because it's what I can stomach and what I can handle.
So have you set a goal for yourself that when you reach that goal, then you'll progress higher?
Yeah. So I wanted to be able to go through choppy waters, like not do so hot and feel conviction, like it was just a bad month or whatever. I'm kind of actually going through that right now where I'm not actually doing that great in my trade. I'm not doing horrible and I'm not like losing, but I'm not in a great spot. And right now they say like we're on a bull run or we're just about hitting a bull run. So this is when you should be thriving the most, and I'm not doing great. So I'm like, okay, I got to take a step back. I need to reevaluate what's going on because I was doing very good and now I'm not. So I did set a goal for myself. I set a goal to make $10,000 in profit by the end of this year. I'm at 9,000. So I'm like super excited for about a month left.
Ooh.
Super pumped. I got about a month left to make $1,000. Might happen, might
easy
not.
Easy money.
I know. So I'm like the time is now. Like it's really like the pressure's on. Right. So I actually doing this and whatever. I've gotten more engaged into figuring out like my ins and outs and where are my weaknesses and stuff. So I'm pretty pumped. I think maybe if I can reach my goal. My goal for next year is obviously $15,000. So I'm going to have to bump up these position sizes. So it's kind of like, do I want to reach this goal? If I want to reach this goal, I got to, work hard, play hard. So that's how I feel about that.
So would you say your style that you've learned or that you've created for yourself is sort of like slow and steady wins the race?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, I get kind of like, I guess you would say butthurt when I don't, let's say I'm trading like Apple, for example, and I get sticking out. Like, I don't want to buy it again. Like, you burnt me. I'm done with you.
Don't talk to me ever again.
Yeah. Block it. So I don't like feeling that way because I'll be like, nope, done, like over with. I don't know why. I got to work on that, I guess, too. But I like to leave a lot of room. So I don't want to like, enter a trade, get stopped out, enter a trade, get stopped out, and then enter a trade, and then finally it goes. Like, I'd rather just hold it through all those motions. Because at first when I learned about trading, I was like, oh, you just got to always put your money where the money's being made. And that is like so not the case. You cannot make money all the time, like always just be in the right names. So I like to hold and give things a little bit more room to go, because eventually you catch the trade or catch that, I don't know, the movement. Thank you. You catch the movement when you weren't even expecting it. You're like, oh my God, that finally went. Sweet. I'm like 10% profit. I'm going to take some off. And I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't just say like, see ya, or like get rid of it just because I felt like it wasn't working out. So.
And that's a testament to how important holding your winners are, and that's what Trading Experts emphasizes a lot. It's just holding your winners, and not a lot of people, including men in this industry, like to really hold their winners unless you've been 50 years in the market and know exactly what to do and how to do it. But for someone at such a young age to be able to understand that holding it's gonna come around, it's just such a great testament to what Trading Experts is teaching. So I want to move into Beyond Meat. For those people who don't know what Beyond Meat is, it is a Los Angeles based producer of plant-based meat substitutes, founded in 2009 by Ethan Brown, and it is currently trading at $79.02, up about 1% at the end of the day for today. So how did you make 200% in profits in Beyond Meat, becoming one of the best returns as an Alpha Chat member this year?
So I'm vegan, so I'm very pro that. I'm so excited. So going back to what you're saying about like buying something 50 years ago and just being patient, I was like, I told my brother, I was like, I'm buying this. I don't care what anyone says. I'm buying it and I'm holding it for the rest of my life just because I had conviction about it. I know how the vegan lifestyle is growing. I have done a lot of research. I'm actually like semi trying to get my nutrition degree. I'm reading a lot about it. And I follow a lot of plant-based like news outlets and whatnot. I'm like, I know how this is trending, and I have a lot of conviction, a lot of confidence that whether it goes now or later, like, right chart. And I was like, I'm holding it for the rest of my life. I can honestly say I didn't expect it to go up as much as it did, but I think with the whole Whopper thing and the Impossible and all that, like all that news, I think drove it up. So yeah, I think I bought it around $42 or something like that, $44, and I held it to like it was like $200 or something like that. So yeah, it's a quick 200%, no big deal.
No big deal. It's whatever.
I mean, I'm gonna say it was like vegan power, but you know, that's just me. But yeah, it was definitely it was very nice to happen. I'm so glad to like. I couldn't be more like blessed or grateful that I just happened to hit the mark on that one. So yeah, I mean, I can honestly say it honestly just happens. Like I just had this gut feeling, and that's a big thing about trains. Like your gut, going with your gut is like I think the number one thing. People like so desperately seek answers from other people, and it's like they're gonna give you knowledge, but at the end of the day, it's your gut. It's you pressing the buttons, and that was that. I was like, I'm doing it. And ain't nobody stopping me. If I lose, I don't. So that's how that happened.
And it's amazing to see that again. Like I mentioned before, at such a young age. And while you were telling me that story, I kept thinking of Warren Buffett, because he became so successful in trading and investing because he was so passionate about what he was investing in, and he cared about deeply in what he was investing. That's why he holds over 15-20% in Coca-Cola, because he believed in them. That's why he holds so much shares in Apple, because he truly appreciated the company as a brand. And that's, again, it's just a testament to, if you're passionate and you care about a company and you believe, like you said, in your gut that it's gonna be successful no matter what, then you gotta stick with your intuition. So how were you able to make thousands of dollars this year tax-free? I feel like that's a very important question that people would love to hear, because it's like, I feel like that's one of the issues that people may have coming into the market. Is like, oh, now I gotta pay all these taxes. What if I make a bunch of money and now I have to pay all the taxes? So how are you able to make thousands of dollars tax-free? Tax-free, people, tax-free.
Yeah. Free. Yeah. So that's one thing that, like you said, evolving. Another big thing is just like acquiring all this knowledge that you wouldn't have known unless it was given to you or you went out digging for it. But how do you know what to dig for if you don't know which direction to go? Right. That's one thing that's like amazing about trading experts. They literally give you the base, like the core. You need to know this. Forget everything else. Forget the noise. This is what you need to know. And Ben is incredible. He taught me about, there's different types of accounts. I actually have 3. So I have a taxable account, and then there's IRAs. So you have your Roth IRA or your traditional. I have a Roth. Actually, I have both. I have a Roth that I contribute to every year, $6,000. And then I have the IRA that I inherited from my dad. So it's called a BYND IRA, so beneficiary. So all that money that I made trading was with the money there. So it's tax-free. I get it when I'm 59 and a half. So it's fun to trade. It's fun to trade with that, because I'm like, I got 59 years to figure it out. But when I do, it's all tax-free. When you have the IRA, I'm pretty sure you get a first-time home buyer's allowance too, so you'd be able to get all gains tax-free when you buy a house for the first time. So
that's like the FHA loan, like $10,000 for the first time high, but
something like that. So all that money, because I traded with my IRA instead of trading taxable. So Yeah, it's all tax free. I mean, I got 10 grand in the bank right now. I'm just waiting for me. So, yeah.
All right. So just to wrap things up a bit, right? So how does it feel to be in a field that is particularly male dominated?
You know, it really doesn't faze me much. I have to be honest with you. All my friends growing up are all guys. I think I mesh well with that type of environment. I like the no bull, like
Drama.
no side eye, no attitude. I think everyone keeps it very, I think it's just a male mentality. Like, let's keep it straight. Let's keep it light. Let's keep it to the point.
Right.
And I like that. I don't like all the extra, I don't know. There's no drama. I can tell you that much. You know, someone mentions politics, they shut it down real quick. So that's nice. However, I do think it would be cool to have more girls, but in a mostly male, I think everyone's very like, what's it called? They have great manners. Like everyone's very gentlemanly. Everyone's been very nice. I can reach out to anyone, and I almost feel like a little sister. Like there's Lisa, who's another big primary girl in the group. I think Bella too, and they kind of treat us like sisters, if anything. It feels like being part of a family more so like this male dominance, like they're trying to impress us. It's more of like we all take each other under each other's wings, and it feels like a family. That's for sure.
That's beautiful. So, what do you encourage for others, for those newbies and those people who are just coming into the markets? What do you encourage for them?
So, like any other person, to read, like to do your research and read. Find what clicks in your head and just read and learn as much as possible. Go talk to people, go get advice. Like, do not just think. I was actually listening to a podcast that someone else put in a group yesterday, and they were like, just because you work out at home every single day doesn't mean you can just join the Olympics tomorrow. Or just because you love playing chess at home doesn't mean you can enter a chess competition tomorrow. You need to seek better ways. You have to always improve, and you need to seek help and like learn from others. And it's like the most important thing is to get a big mentor attitude. Like I can't do this all on my own. So I always tell people to read as much as you possibly can, find what works for you, and then from there on, seeking out someone to really help guide you through the ropes. I mean, you don't just get in a car and drive, right? You have to learn. So that's a huge thing for me. And another thing too, because there's so many trading groups out in the world and all this information, find someone who's credible too. Like, don't just ask the average schmo down the street. Like, find someone who can really show you like, hey, I did this and I found success in this. I think you would, someone who has a lot of conviction too. Like, don't let them sound like a pyramid scheme, because there's a lot out there. And then another thing is like, for me, like with my experience with my financial advisor, like, don't always think, like, don't be ignorant, don't be blind to what's right in front of you.
Close-minded.
Yeah, close-minded. Always have an open book. Always be able to hear another side of things. But also, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Like the fact that there's financial advisors out there that just sell mutual funds, like, do you really think that they have what your best interest in mind? Like, they have a job, they're doing this job, and they're managing your money. Do they honestly have your needs over theirs? I mean, it just doesn't add up. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people could benefit from having a hobby. And if this is something that to me is so cut and dry and easy to understand, I don't see why more people can't manage their own retirement and trade like as if they play, men's league soccer on Saturday, or like, you know what I mean? I really honestly believe anyone can do it.
Absolutely. At any age, by the way, too.
Yeah. I mean, as you know, in our group, we have 14, 15, 16-year-olds, and we got like 60-year-olds.
Killing it too.
And some of the 16-year-olds do way better than me, than other people, and vice versa. So yeah, I always encourage people to find someone who's credible that you can really trust, and to always, be aware be very aware, like just in life in general too. Just be aware of, always have a little bit of doubt and skepticism in the back of your mind, because it's just, your life is on you. And I think, especially when it comes to money, I mean, we all know money is a very touchy subject. It is another thing. So if you want to do it, like, you have your best interest in mind. So I think it's always best to, be able to have it in control.
So one last question before I let you go, and I want to start incorporating this last question to all of my trading experts, alpha members. Why trading experts, for everyone listening out there?
Support group you find, and
I'm sorry, can you just start again? It got caught off. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as for me, it's the biggest support group I've ever found in life in general. I cannot say one other aspect of my life that's been more supportive, more knowledgeable, and that I have gained more wholesomeness in any aspect. Even my coworkers at work, I mean, I hope they don't hear this, but like, I find more support and encouragement in my life from this group. And like I said, money is kind of like this taboo thing, like the divine and all that stuff. And to be in control and have this potential to really succeed in life, like really in the palm of your hands, and you can do it, it is incredible. And I think that they provide the core values that you could ever need. And they really open your eyes to how the world works. And I just have learned. So I am so grateful for all the knowledge I've learned from them. If it doesn't work out, if I'm not a trader, I am so grateful for the 2 years that I had just learning and experiencing life with trading experts. That's all I can say.
Amazing. Gina, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on, taking time out of your life to come on to the Paradisos podcast and talking with me. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we can have more sit downs and more chats, and maybe we can have a whole bunch of alpha members speaking at once. So again, thank you so much.
Fun. Thank you for having me. That was fun.
Of course. So guys, thank you out there for listening. Don't forget to check out our website, www.paradisos.world, our Instagram, Paradisos Podcast, and our Twitter, Paradisos 101. Until next time, my beautiful people, good night. God bless you all. All-time great. Wait. Running my race till I'm one of the